Aloha guys, welcome back to my channel. Mermaid Nina here. Well, I am back with another Genie Plus video. We're actually going to get straight into it tonight because it's a lot of information. Basically, it is 2024. Genie Plus was supposed to change. It has not, but I'm getting a lot of people asking me for what's the most updated current explanation video. So I am taking all the previous updates from what feels like years and putting it into one video. So this is a full-on Genie Plus lightning lane, individual lightning lane. We will talk about it, explanation and updates video. Again, for 2024, if you are watching the older ones, that's fine. This is gonna be your most current. So the first thing you need to know are the three terms because they are rather similar. So there are two ways, and we will discuss it, that you can skip the lines while at Disneyland, Disney World. The first one is called Genie Plus. It is something you have to pay for, but it's a way to get a pass, another pass, and another pass, and even another pass to skip the line on multiple rides. This is going to be for the bulk of the rides at each of the 4 parks. The other term you need to know is individual. This word is key. Individual lightning lane. This is also a way to skip the line, but only works on 1 to 2 rides at each park. Now, currently today, most of the parks only have 1 ride. These straws will come into use, I promise you. There's only 1 ride at the park that you can pay, pay to skip the line. However, Magic Kingdom right now has 2. But just know your options here are Genie Plus and individual lightning lanes, or you can do both. We will talk about it. The third term here that you need to know is lightning lane. Don't get that confused with individual lightning lane. Lightning lane is literally, it's just the line you walk through when you want to skip the line. There are actually signs up above the rides that say lightning lane. This is where you go if you have any form of pass to skip the line. That is Genie Plus, individual lightning lane. Basically, if you have paid and you have a return time to skip the line, you're going to go through the lightning lane. So hopefully that makes sense. 2 ways to pay to skip the lines, right? To ride things faster, not having to wait standby. And then the physical line you would then wait in is a lightning lane. So with those 3 terms, let's hop into it. So Genie Plus, what is Genie Plus? Well, first of all, don't get it confused with something called Genie. Disney came out with something called just Genie. It's just Genie. Don't worry about it. It's on your app. You can fiddle with it if you want to, but I'm talking about Genie Plus. It has to have the plus sign. Now, this is the way you are gonna skip the line for the majority of rides at each park. This includes rides, attractions, character meet and greets, and even some parades. That's right, for you to get a front seat for the parade so you don't have to wait in a long line. Now, this system is indeed something you have to pay for. It is optional. You don't have to do it, but you have to pay for it. And like I said, Genie Plus works for the majority of rides, attractions, whatnot at each of the parks. You gotta be up to date, so make sure you always check the app. It's gonna be in something called Tipboard. I will talk about it later, but do note, Magic Kingdom does have the longest list of things you can skip, but that doesn't mean it's the only park that it's worth it to do. We will talk about it, but yes, just know that going to it. Genie Plus, you pay for it, and it works for the majority of rides and things at each park. Okay, that sounds good. Well, what are the rules behind this so-called Genie Plus? Yep, this is where our changes come into play, guys. So first of all, Genie Plus can only be used once for that ride. Basically, no double dipping, no using Genie Plus for the same ride twice. Doesn't mean you can't ride that ride twice. We often do. We will Genie Plus it one time and then wait standby for it a second time. But yes, you can only get Haunted Mansion once. You can only get Jungle Cruise once. You can only get Peter Pan once, and so on in a given day. That's what I mean by no double dipping. And yes, you can start getting these passes, securing those return times. That's what I mean by passes. You can call them a pass. You can call them Genie Plus lightning lanes. You can call them, you know, return times, whatever you want to call them. You can start getting them at 7 a.m. This is for everyone, whether you are on property, off property, it doesn't matter. If you have purchased Genie Plus for the day at 7 a.m. is when you can start to get your first pass, your first return time. 7 a.m. Make sure you do this, because if you don't do it at 7 a.m., it actually holds you back the rest of the day, because some passes will indeed go fast. And for those of you wondering, well, how do I get my second pass or my third pass, right? We will talk about it later on when we talk about strategy, but just note you can get your second pass 2 hours after park opening. So if park opens at 9, you would get your second pass at 11, thus having 2 passes. Or if that first pass that you got at 7 o'clock had a return time of, let's say, 9:30, and you already rode that ride, you can then secure another pass. So it just depends on your strategy. But no matter what, first pass you get or you secure it at 7 o'clock. Doesn't matter what time you get, but you get it first at 7 a.m. Also note, the passes are the next available time per the app. So it might not be the time you want. If you want to ride, I don't know, Peter Pan at a specific time, because maybe that's not until you're getting to the park, or maybe you have dining reservations nearby. I don't know. If you want to ride a certain ride at a certain time, you're just going to have to keep refresh to get the time you want. Otherwise, it is the next available time. Might not be the time you want, it's the time that's next, right? And this can get confusing to some people, because they're like, well, I'm not gonna be in the park till 2 o'clock. I don't wanna ride the ride at 11. That's when you would have to keep refreshing or get a different ride and come back later. Again, strategy, we'll talk about it. Passes also can sell out. Of course they can. This especially happens over the holidays and peak season. We did see that Genie Plus, the ability to purchase Genie Plus, not even get the rides, but the ability to purchase Genie Plus can indeed sell out. So you can purchase Genie Plus as early as midnight that same day, but just note that on certain times of the year, Genie Plus, or the ability to purchase Genie Plus, will indeed sell out. And also certain rides, certain popular rides, will also book up. Meaning, even if you wanted to ride Space Mountain, if Space Mountain was popular that day, there is a chance all the return times to ride Space Mountain could be gone. So if there's a particular ride that you want to make sure you get your Genie Plus for, you're going to have to get it early. Again, this is where that 7 a.m. time slot comes into play. Of course, another rule is you can only have 1 Genie Plus return time in your piggy bank at a time, unless you did a process called stacking, in which case you waited that every 2 hours. We will talk about it. So if you got one at 7 a.m., that's important. You waited 2 hours after park time, that would be about 11, and you've got 2 passes, that's allowed. But normally you have to wait that 2 hours. Again, 1 o'clock, you got another pass. This process is called stacking. We will talk about it. But otherwise, my point is you can't get one at 7 a.m. and then again at 7:30 and again at 8 o'clock, unless you were to pass it and then you rode it and then you passed something else and then you rode that. Basically, you can't stack a bunch of Genie Plus passes in your piggy bank on the app unless you wait that 2 hours. That is also very, very important. But those are the big rules when it comes to Genie Plus. Note, and I repeat, note, Disney says in the fine print, most guests get 2 to 3 Genie Plus passes in a single day. I say, if you do it right, you can get more. That's right. I do have itinerary planning videos using Genie Plus. I have also live park videos where I show you how I used more than 2 to 3 Genie Pluses in a given day. If you do it correctly, you can definitely get more than 2 or 3. But just note, Disney says the majority of people get 2 or 3 in a day. I say, if you know what you're doing, you can absolutely get more. But let's move on from Genie Plus for a second. Next thing up is individual lightning lane. Yeah, so what are the rules for that one, right? Again, this is the other way to pay to skip the line. However, this is for very specific rides. These are for the top tier rides at all 4 parks, right? So currently, right now, what are those rides? Well, we've got Tron, of course. 7 Dwarf Mine Train. We've got, Pandora, so Flights of Passage. Of course, Star Wars, A Rise of the Resistance. And then, of course, Guardians of Galaxy at Epcot. But I'm going to note this, depending on when you watch this video, I highly suspect Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is opening summer of 2024, is going to be added to the Magic Kingdom list. So I suspect 7 Dwarf Mine Train may drop down to a Genie Plus pass, which would make Tiana an individual lightning lane. Again, coming soon for that change or adjustment. But for right now, Magic Kingdom has the 2, right? You can purchase 7 Dwarf Mine Train and Tron and ride them both in a single day. Or you can hop and buy 1 Tron and 1 Guardians of the Galaxy. It doesn't matter, it's whatever you want because you're paying individually for that ride. Disney just says the rule, you can't get more than 2, which means you can't buy Tron and Guardians and Rise of the Resistance and 7 Dwarf Mine Train in a single day. You can only pick 2. And these rides you do purchase individually. So as Genie Plus was a bulk of rides, individual lightning lane, you're paying for 1 with the option to pay for 2. Now, how much are these? Well, again, it's Disney. Prices change for the individual lightning lanes daily, weekly, monthly, seasonally, whatever, but they're going to average about $15 to $30 per ride per person. So Rise of the Resistance could easily be $20 per person to skip the line for Rise of the Resistance. It could even be $30 per person to skip the line for Rise of the Resistance. 7 Dwarf Mine Train might be more like 15 bucks. But just so you know, you're paying Genie Plus, 1 price, the bulk to skip the lines. Individual lightning lane, you're paying to skip 1 ride line. The other thing to note here about individual lightning lanes is you get to select your time. So when you go ahead and pay for Pandora Flights of Passage, you can choose to skip the line at 2 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, at 5 o'clock. Because you're paying for that individual ride, you can decide your time. Genie Plus, first available time. Individual lightning lane, you get to pick your time, which makes it really, really exciting. The other difference here, which is I know frustrating to some people, like I said, anyone at 7 a.m. can get those Genie Pluses. Doesn't matter, on property, off property, whatever. You get this at 7 a.m., your first one. Individual lightning lanes, only Disney resort guests get to purchase at 7 a.m., which means anyone who is staying off property, you can't purchase till park openings. That means if that park opens at 9 o'clock, you have to wait 2 hours longer than anyone staying on property before you can attempt to purchase Tron, Guardians of the Galaxy, Rise of the Resistance, etc., which makes people who are staying on Disney property gives them a leg up, because I will tell you right now, certain rides will indeed sell out. Rise of the Resistance, I'm talking about you. That one is most usually gone. Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy close behind. So unfortunately for you staying off property, you might not get to purchase the individual lightning lanes that you want or at the time that you want, because those Disney resort guests, well, they snagged them first. But just note, those are the rules. On property, 7 a.m. Off property, park opening. But again, Genie Plus, individual lightning lane, 2 different systems. Buy one, buy the other, do them both. Disney doesn't care. It's all about strategy. So who's ready for cost, right? Of course, this has got to cost some money. So yes, here's the cost here. First of all, Disney has changed Genie Plus to be date-based and park-based. If you have seen any of my previous videos, I tell you Genie Plus is 15 bucks. Nope, that was a change. It is date-based, which means Christmas season, you're paying more. In fact, this past Christmas season, Genie Plus was $39 per person per park day for that one day. So just note that it is a flex pricing. We don't know what the price is going to be until that morning when you go to purchase it. And that's the other thing. You can't purchase it in advance. So in that other video, when I say add it to your package, no, you cannot do that anymore. You have to wait until that park day. But again, we started with prices. Genie Plus averages about $15 to $39 per person per park day. Again, date-based. A non-peak day, yeah, you could get as low as $15 to $17. High peak day, Christmas time, spring break, yeah, 39 bucks. But get this, it's also park-based. So if you want to go to Magic Kingdom and skip the line using Genie Plus, you are going to pay more than if you decide to go to Animal Kingdom and skip the line with Genie Plus. Again, crowd levels, all the things. So yes, Animal Kingdom is cheaper to use Genie Plus on. Magic Kingdom is going to be the most costly, as is something called the multi-park pass. That is when you want to use Genie Plus and hop, meaning you want to skip the line at several parks in a single day. You would purchase the multi-park pass, but that is where the price range comes in, $15 to $39. And yes, that can go up, and yep, plus tax. That is not a flat rate. You got to add that tax. And similar to that, like I said, individual lightning lane is also flexed pricing. You won't know the cost of that ride until that morning, but typically the less popular rides like Seven Dwarf Mine Train, unfortunately, is cheaper than, say, Rise of the Resistance, which is obviously still very, very popular after all these years. But next up, okay, Nina, I know what it is. I know the price. How do I actually get Genie Plus, or how am I actually going to get this individual lightning lane? I get I have to pay for it. I also understand it's the only way I can skip the line while at the theme parks, but how do I get it? Yep, we're going to talk about that next. You want to know how you get it? On the app, that's right. So that morning I said passes, you can start getting passes at 7 a.m. You want to purchase Genie Plus before 7 a.m. 6:50 a.m. if you want to. If you're going during peak season, you want to purchase it as early as possible. If you're still up partying the night before and it's midnight, just purchase it for the next day at midnight. I'm not saying everyone has to wait till midnight, but if you are a nervous Nelly and you're like, I don't want it to sell out, just get it at midnight, save yourself some hassle. Otherwise, the times when Genie Plus did indeed sell out, I didn't see it selling out any sooner than about 11 a.m. Again, that could change, but yes, if you know you want it, buy it soon. You definitely want to buy it before 7 a.m. because 7 a.m. is when you get your first pass. Also, like I said, you can't purchase it in advance. It's something you do that day. Okay, Nina, great, I get it. Let's move on. How do you get it? Yeah? So you open up the My Disney Experience app. It's actually on your home screen. It's super duper easy. You just scroll down a little bit. It's nice and purple and it says Genie Plus. You just press it and follow the prompts and purchase. It's actually gonna post all the different prices per park. Like I said, Animal Kingdom's gonna be the cheapest. Magic Kingdom and that multi-park is gonna be the most expensive. So yeah, you just pick your park of the day, you select all the peoples, purchase, done. You're gonna know the price, you're gonna know how much they charged you right then and there. So if you purchase that at $6.50, then you just wait and wait till that 7 a.m. to select your first pass and or return time. The other way to purchase Genie Plus is also under Tipboard. We're gonna talk a lot about Tipboard. So how you get to Tipboard is you open up the app. In the right-hand corner, there's going to be 3 dash lines. These 3 dash lines are a good way to get to a whole bunch of things within the app. You click the 3 dash lines. On the very top left-hand corner, I do believe, is something called Tip Board. Tip Board is another way that you will purchase Genie Plus. It is also how you will purchase that individual lightning lane. It is also how you're going to get your return times for the rides that you want to use your Genie Plus for, right? So if you want to get a return time for Jungle Cruise, you would do that in Tip Board. A lot of things are in Tip Board. Again, 3 dash lines, right-hand corner, press Tip Board, follow the prompts. That is how you are going to purchase Genie Plus and also individual lightning lane. But here's a few things you also need to know, or questions I've been getting, so I'm going to answer them for you. Everyone in your party needs Genie Plus. If you're purchasing Genie Plus, you got to purchase it for everyone, or at least everyone who wants to skip the line and is ages 3 and up. Anyone under 3 doesn't have a park ticket, you can't really purchase them Genie Plus. But for example, grandma's going with you. Do you purchase grandma Genie Plus? Yes, I get that grandma might not want to ride Space Mountain and she might not want to ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. But if she wants to ride Jungle Cruise with you and Peter Pan with you and Haunted Mansion with you, and you plan on skipping the line for those rides as well, then yes, everyone needs Genie Plus in the morning when you go to purchase it. And yes, like I said, you only need it for people with a park ticket. So any of those little kiddos that are under the age of 3, they don't need a park ticket, you don't purchase them Genie Plus. You also need to be careful and make sure you purchase the correct Genie Plus for the park you're going to. If you're going to Hollywood Studios that day, make sure you purchase the Hollywood Studios Genie Plus pass. Don't accidentally purchase Animal Kingdom. So your park of the day and the Genie Plus pass that you purchase need to match, with the exception of people who have the park hopper added to their park ticket and they plan on hopping and they want to use Genie Plus at all the parks they plan on hopping to. You need to purchase the multi-parks pass. I will note that in the past, the multi-parks pass has sold out. Magic Kingdom has sold out. Animal Kingdom has sold out. Hollywood Studios has sold out. The only one I haven't noticed to sell out in the terms of purchasing the Genie Plus is Epcot. I assume it's because Epcot is huge, but hopefully that helps you out. That's how you purchase it. Those are the rules behind it. So now, of course, all right, once I've purchased it, right? So I purchased it, it's $6.50, I purchased it, I got the right pass for the right park, I got them for all the peoples, right? Well, how do I get my first ride? Well, again, it's in Tip Board. So again, the 3 dash lines, scroll at the top, it's gonna say Tip Board, click on it. Now here's a few things of Tip Board that you need to know. First, you have the option to change the parks within Tip Board. So make sure if you're going to Magic Kingdom, it says Magic Kingdom at the top. Otherwise, there's a button that says Change Park, and you would adjust the park to whatever park you're going to that day. Then you would just scroll down and find the ride that you want. Jungle Cruise, yeah, that's the one I always skip first at Magic Kingdom. Scroll all the way down and press Lightning Lane. Again, Genie Plus, it's the next available time. So even at 7 a.m. when you got the pass, everyone else is getting the pass too. So your first return time might not be till 11:30. You just don't know. So you click on it, you say, yes, that's my Genie Plus. Now remember what I said. If your next return time isn't until 11:30, you can still get another Genie Plus 2 hours after park opening. So if at 7 o'clock you got a return time at 11:30, but the park opens at 9, that means at 11 you can secure another pass. So maybe you're gonna ride Jungle Cruise at 11:30, but at 11 o'clock you secured Haunted Mansion for 12:30. That means you now have 2 Genie Pluses in your little piggy bank. We will talk about this later, but that I just want your mind to kind of start thinking about how you go about doing this. Another great thing about Tip Board is when you're in the system, not only can you see all the rides, but you can see all the return times. So you can adjust your mindset. Yes, I know I want Haunted Mansion, but Space Mountain's passes are almost gone. So maybe we better change our, plans accordingly and get that Space Mountain Pass, and we'll get the Haunted Mansion Pass later. So just note, all those rides are listed in Tipboard, and they're gonna list not only the next available Lightning Lane return time, right? They're gonna list the wait time. So in that given moment, you can decide which ride is better to pass. Is it better to pass a ride with a 10-minute wait time, or a ride with a 65-minute wait time? This is where Tipboard comes to play, because you can see it all in Tipboard and you can make those in the moment decisions. Also within Tipboard, just note that if you got a Genie Plus for something and you changed your mind, something came up, you can cancel and or modify those passes. Also note that in that example with grandma, right? If you got a mixed generational family, or maybe you don't, some people want to ride this ride, some people don't. You don't have to get Genie Pluses for everyone. You can absolutely have half of your party ride Winnie the Pooh and the other half of your party ride the teacups. It really just depends on what you want. Everyone doesn't have to do the same rides. You can mix in rides. As long as everyone's purchased Genie Plus, enjoy, pass whoever you want for whatever ride per availability. And also note that when you're in the system, I mentioned it earlier, if you go to get a ride and you're like, I don't want to wait till 2 o'clock to ride this ride, like I'm gonna be taking a nap. Just keep refreshing and refreshing and refreshing the screen. There is a chance that someone had an earlier time that they were kind of looking at, and then the system like timed out, and now that time that they were looking at is available to you. So always keep scrolling down and doing the refresh, because you never know if a different time will pop up within the Genie Plus system. All right, now to answer the big question. Ready? Do I really need Genie Plus? Is it worth it? Do I 100% need to get it? All of those questions, right? So first of all, no, you don't need Genie Plus. No one has to purchase Genie Plus. It is not mandatory. You can absolutely go to the parks and just wait standby. But again, in Tipboard, you can see those wait times. Do you want to wait for all of these rides, 65 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes in line all day long? Or is it worth it to you to just purchase Genie Plus for $35 per person and be able to skip those wait times? It is 100% your call, but I am here to tell you that we have used Genie Plus multiple times, multiple trips for what feels like years now. And we have always found it beneficial. But you have to think, is it worth this amount of money to skip 2 to 3 rides that are 65 minutes long, 90 minutes long, 120 minutes long? Would you rather save the money and spend most of your day in line? Or would you rather just pay the money and go ride other things, or eat, or shop, or watch a parade while you're waiting for your Genie Plus and individual Lightning Lanes to come to play? It is 100% your call. You don't have to purchase Genie Plus. You don't have to purchase individual Lightning Lane, but it gives you the option to do so, to skip the line, to spend that time doing something else. So yes, in my mind, it is 100% worth it. Opinions are divided on this. A lot of people hate Genie Plus. I would never waste my money on Genie Plus. Maybe they had a bad experience. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I can tell you as someone who has successfully used Genie Plus and has put out many successful Genie Plus videos, all of my comments are, wow, Nina, you saved my trip. Genie Plus saved my trip. Do we like Genie Plus? No, it's a pain in the butt. It's costly. The system's kind of annoying. You have to do everything at 7 a.m. I can go on and on about the problems with Genie Plus. But in the long run, if it saves you waiting in line, yeah, I'm gonna say it's worth it. I'm gonna suggest you, yes indeed, purchase Genie Plus and individual Lightning Lane if you are interested in the rides. And again, individual Lightning Lane, you do this under Tipboard as well. Remember, you can get your first one at 7 a.m. if you're a resort guest. Otherwise, you have to wait until Park opening, you can get up to 2 in a single day, so both Tron and Seven Dwarf Mine Train, or Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy if you're hopping, whatever you want, right? You get to select your time. So you get to kind of think, okay, well, what time am I going to be in this area? What time am I going to hop to this park? So you can kind of select your time, which is absolutely awesome. The other thing about individual lightning lane, if grandma doesn't want to ride Guardians of the Galaxy, don't purchase it for her. If grandma doesn't want to ride Tron, don't purchase it for her. Only purchase for the people who are actually riding. Hopefully that answers the questions about individual lightning lane, but we're going to get to my tips and tricks and my strategies. Are you ready? Again, you can get this as early as midnight. If you're up until midnight, purchase at midnight, go to sleep, set your alarm for 6:50, wake up and just wait and scroll until you get the ride of your choice for your first Genie Plus in the morning. Remember, it can indeed sell out. Not only the purchasing of Genie Plus, but that individual ride that you may or may not be trying to get. So just note all of that ahead of time. Also remember that no matter what, get your first ride at 7 a.m. Set your alarm, get your first ride at 7 a.m., whatever time it was, and then you can go back to bed. It doesn't matter if you're not going to the park until later in the day. I do this on travel day a lot. I will wake up, get my first Genie Plus of the day, take my shower, whatever. Maybe I'm driving to the airport. I get my second Genie Plus of the day 2 hours after park opening. Maybe I'm getting ready to fly in the air. It's travel day. And then at 1 o'clock or 2 hours after that, I'll get my other pass and I will keep stacking every 2 hours. And then finally, maybe I've landed and it's 5 p.m. and I head to the park and now I have all these passes in my piggy bank that I can ride now because I've stacked them. So whether or not you're going to the park at rope drop or not, you definitely want to try to get that first pass at 7 a.m. You just want to get a ride that's later in the day, because obviously if the pass is at 9:30, but you're not riding until 5 p.m., that pass isn't going to work for you. So find a pass that's later in the day and then keep stacking. Again, 7 a.m. first pass, 2 hours after park opening, second pass, 2 hours after that, third pass, and you can keep stacking as long as you haven't ridden anything yet, so you can ride those things later. So you're watching this and you're like, okay, I want to make the most of this, right? I want to put this $39 per person per park day plus tax to my advantage. I have several itinerary game plan videos based on those parks. I have a regular edition and then I have a child's edition in case you're going with kiddos and you want to focus on things like characters and parades and kind of those little kid rides. I have 2 videos per park that are semi-recent that will give you kind of a game plan on what to do when, which pass to get, and all of those things. So check them out. But if you're ready for my strategy, this is it. If you've seen my previous video, you will know I use straws because it's a visual way to make things easier. So Genie Plus is blue. Individual lightning lane is red. And if we want to talk virtual queues, yep, they're gonna be green. Are you ready for this? All right, it's 7 a.m. or 6:50, 6:55, whatever. You have already purchased Genie Plus. It is 7 a.m. What do you do? Because you're getting ready to secure all your passes for the day. And like I said, there's kind of 2 strategies, but this is what you need to know. If you're a resort guest, 7 a.m., you can get your first Genie Plus return time. You can also get an individual lightning lane return time. In fact, you can get 2 individual lightning lane return times at 7 a.m. But what else do you get to get? Yep, you can get a virtual queue. So at 7 a.m., you can actually secure 4 rides in a given day. Now, I do have a video all about Genie Plus, individual lightning lane, and virtual queues in terms of game plans, which one you should do first and which ones you should focus on and how you should make that work. But just know at 7 a.m., Genie Plus, you can select 1. You can get up to 2 individual lightning lanes if you're a Disney resort guest, and you get to get your first of possibly 2 virtual queues. That is already 4 rides that you are securing at 7 a.m. So just kind of note that. We're gonna put virtual queues aside for a second, and we're gonna talk about Genie Plus strategies. So when I talk about this, note that in your piggy bank, you could already have your individual lightning lanes and your virtual queue. Just note that all happens at 7 a.m. So these could be in your bank, but for now, we're talking about Genie Plus. So the 2 strategies, the one I use the most, which is great if you're hitting the park at rope drop. You're gonna be there first thing in the morning, rope drop. This is the perfect strategy. You can actually use these strategies kind of back and forth in the same day, depending on your situation. So at 7 a.m., you got your first pass. Your return time is like 9 o'clock. So you ride the ride at 9 o'clock. Let's call that ride Peter Pan. So you rode Peter Pan because the return time was 9 o'clock, you rode it. While you're in line for Peter Pan and you scanned into your pass using your magic band, usually 2 times, you get to secure another pass. This time, let's call it Jungle Cruise. So perhaps Jungle Cruise's return time is 9:45. You've already ridden Peter Pan, now you've got Jungle Cruise, 9:45. After you've gone into the line for Jungle Cruise, you've scanned in with your magic band, usually 2 times, that's scanning in for your return time, you can get another pass. And maybe this time, Pirates of the Caribbean at 11:30. So now you've already got 3 passes that you've used Genie Plus for. It's crazy. You go into your Pirates of the Caribbean, right, 11:30, you scan in again 2 times using your magic band, except now you're gonna do Haunted Mansion. Maybe Haunted Mansion's return time is 1:30. That's okay because it's lunchtime. You can go ahead and have lunch. You can go do the Pirates Adventure. I have a video on that. You can go, have a snack, eat, whatever, meet some of the Country Bear characters, whatever you want to do. You've already got 4 rides that you use Genie Plus for. While you're waiting, you can do other rides. You can wait standby. You can do whatever you want, right? So then your Haunted Mansion comes up. What did I say? 1:30. You go into Haunted Mansion. You're in the queue. You scan in your pass. Haunted Mansion, I do believe, is 1 time. You can get another pass, except now you want Big Thunder. Well, Big Thunder's return time isn't until 4:30. That's okay because you can ride the Walt Disney World Railroad. You can go explore Tom Sawyer's Island, whatever you want. But look how many passes you've already gotten in a single day. This is where it matters if you do it correctly. Once you've rode Big Thunder, yeah, you scanned in twice. Guess what? You can keep going, except now you got Dumbo. Dumbo at 7 p.m. That's okay. You can keep exploring. You can ride other things standby. You can do whatever you want. But do you see how if you do, you get the pass, you ride it, you get another pass, you ride it, and you keep going, how you can get several passes in a single day. I call this pass ride, pass ride. This is absolutely a great way to get multiple passes in a single day, especially if you start at rope drop. Your other option here is called stacking. Stacking is great for people who are showing up later in the day. Perhaps you want to sleep in. You don't want to show up until noon. Perhaps it's travel day and you're not showing up till 4 or 5 p.m. Then you're going to do the stacking technique, right? So you still get your first pass at 7 a.m. It's just sitting in your piggy bank for you to ride later. 2 hours after park opening, roughly 11 o'clock. It changes per park, right? You can get another pass again for later in the day. It sits in your piggy bank. 1 o'clock, 2 hours after that 11 o'clock time, you get another one, again, sitting in that piggy bank. Maybe you came to the park at 1:30, in which case you can start riding. You rode all of these. Once you've scanned in for your third one, again, magic band up to 2 times, you can then get another one, right? Pass this, maybe this was for 2:30. You ride this, and you can pass another one. Maybe this one was for 5 p.m. You can actually mix and match the ride, pass, and the stacking all at the same time. So remember, if at 7 o'clock I got a ride, at 11 o'clock I got a ride, at 1 o'clock I got a ride, all to ride later in the day. But I also got my virtual queue, again, to ride later in the day. And then I purchased my 2 individual lightning lanes where I got to select the time, again, to ride later in the day. That means I could have all these rides in my piggy bank to do later in the day. So this is how you want to maximize Genie Plus. You most definitely do not want to waste your passes, especially early in the morning, on things with low wait times. I've always picked Jungle Cruise because it's usually a 65+ minute wait. Plus, I love that area. And I know while I'm waiting for Jungle Cruise, I can ride Aladdin's Flying Carpets. I can do the Tiki Room. Sometimes Pirate has a low wait time. Sometimes I can ride Pirates. I can grab a Dole Whip. There are many things in that area I can do while waiting for my Jungle Cruise. That is why I personally do it first. So pick the things that you want to focus on. Maybe that is Space Mountain. Maybe that is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Maybe you got kiddies with you and you want to do more of the Jungle Cruises and the Peter Pans. You want to do your research. You want to pass the rides or get return times for the rides with the longest waits. Don't waste it on Small World if Small World is only a 15-minute wait right now. Eventually, Small World could get a long wait, but right now, if it's only 15 minutes, don't pass it. Go wait standby for it and pass something else with a long line, like Peter Pan. So you want to pass or get return times for the longest wait rides, for the popular rides. And that is how you make the most of your day. If you have any issues with Genie Plus, so many people, sometimes they have issues, they got a ride, they accidentally clicked the wrong ride, they didn't get all the people, whatever. Always seek out the blue umbrellas. Disney has put guest service teams throughout all the parks in these giant blue umbrellas. You can't miss them. They're everywhere. You have issues with Genie Plus. You have issues with individual lightning lane. You have issues with virtual queue. Something happened. Someone didn't get added. The ride closed down, whatever. Go to the blue umbrella team. They will help you out. Also, make sure you watch my other videos. Like I said, I do have other Genie Plus videos, but I have some dedicated to families. What do you do if grandma's with you? What do you do if you have little kiddos with you? What do you do if you want to hop? All those kind of questions that you may have, I do have other Genie Pluses that kind of, Genie Plus videos that kind of answer those questions. And remember, many people will say Genie Plus isn't worth it, but this is your vacation and only you can decide that. I am not a fan of Genie Plus, like I said before, but I am very pro that it could be worth it if you do it right. So that's why you want to do your research. If you only use Genie Plus on 3 rides and each of those wait times were 60 minutes, you just saved 3 hours of standing in line. You got the ability to eat, snack, ride other things, meet characters, watch the Festival of Fantasy parade or whatever. You gained those 3 hours by spending the money. Is it worth it to you? What if you gained 4 hours, 5 hours? Only you can decide. I also get a lot of people who will say, don't get it in Animal Kingdom because you only get a small list of rides that are included in Animal Kingdom versus Magic Kingdom where you got this huge list. It doesn't matter how many rides you could use it on. If you still saved 65 minutes times 2 or 3 times, was it worth it? Plus, Animal Kingdom's usually the cheaper of the 4 parks to buy Genie Plus in. If you saved yourself over an hour on Navi River Journey, if you saved yourself over an hour on Kilimanjaro Safaris, if you saved yourself over 40+ minutes on Expedition Everest, fill in the blank ride, if you saved those minutes and were able to do something else with your life, with your day, with your time, was it worth it? My opinion, yes, it's worth it. So it doesn't matter if at Magic Kingdom there's more rides you can use it on. If the rides you want to ride are at the park and they're all really long weighted rides, then you still saved the same amount of time. It doesn't matter how many rides which park offers, is my point. Again, it's your choice, it's your decision, but I highly suggest you do your research because only you can really figure it out. You don't want to be the person who waits till you're there and it's noon and you're like, oh, I'm tired of waiting in line. You just missed all that opportunity to skip the line because you get your first pass at 7 a.m. plus the pass could have sold out. Don't be that person. Do your homework in advance and decide early on if you're going to get Genie Plus or not. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully it thoroughly explained all the differences for you. Remember, Genie Plus, you can get multiple rides for a single price. Individual Lightning Lane, each ride is its own price and you can get up to 2 in a single day. You can use Genie Plus, you can use individual Lightning Lane, or you can do both. Either way, whichever one you use, you go through the same line, which is called the lightning lane. So either way, whatever you choose to do, if you want to skip the line, A, you have to pay for it, and B, you're going to go through the same line for the rides, which is called lightning lane. Now, I have several videos on Genie Plus. Like I said, I have been trying Genie Plus for years with my family, without my family, at all the parks, multiple times, mixing and matching experiences. And I have still come out with the belief that although I hate Genie Plus, and I wish they would change it, it can be worth it. It is worth it if you do it correctly. Being able to skip the line is a huge perk. Genie Plus, individual lightning lane is the way to do it, even if you don't like the system. Even if you disagree, the fact you have to wake up at 7 a.m. and do all the things, individual lightning lane, Genie Plus, virtual queue, it gets crazy. But if it's the only way to skip the line, there you go. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. And yes, I know I'm crazy. Hopefully the straws helped. I've used them previously. People loved them, so I did it again. Anyway, this is the most updated video for Genie Plus, individual lightning lane, and even virtual queues right now. If Disney decides to change this, I will do another video. But for now, this is the most updated. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if it got too long. It's a lot of information to explain. But yeah, again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If the subscribe button is red, please click it, turn it gray, hit the bell icon for notifications, like this video, and comment pretty please. Share with others, people who are going to Disney World. Please explore my channel to find all those other informative videos. But yeah, I hope this helped you out. Let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, mahalo for watching. Nina out. Bye, guys.